So what do you guys think about Trump nullifying Biden's pardons?
Wait, Issa, actually, dude, the thing I was gonna ask, well, we could flip to that, but just before we do, I was gonna ask you real quick. I know it's kind of a deep question, but it was from before. So you know, like this whole realm that we're in, as it is right now, do you think
Think.
there are more of these? Is there more than one, or is this the only one?
Um, well, you know what? I've often thought of like the idea of the term the here and like the hereafter, right? Like, and the idea of like frequency and like, so like, let's say like the whole universe, like, the whole, all those realms, let's say, could be like kind of like the quantum shit. Like, it's an interesting idea anyway, that like occupying the same space, but on a different frequency is like a whole nother realm that we can't see because we're locked into this frequency. So like, occupying the same space could be different realms, but just completely um not perceptive of each other. Or maybe we're subtly perceptive of each other or some shit. I don't know. But do you mean like other realms, like the outer ponders kind of a concept?
Well, I guess just in any way, because I guess the second part of the question was going to be, um, if that's the case, if there are other realms like this one, even similar or even different as well, could it then mean that like when people are having these dreams where they're going to like in some cases they seem to be like they're in like almost parallel worlds, like sometimes it's like worlds similar to ours but different, or slightly different? Like, do you think that if there are other worlds, could people be, when they're in their dreams, could they be connecting with lifetimes in those other worlds while they're in their dream, and then when they come back they're back into this one?
I mean, maybe, but I think those other kind of experiences that I've had with dreams and shit, like, they're just like, I don't know, they just don't seem like they're coherent in like the way that I just don't know. Like, they don't seem like they compute with any of this. I think like, dreams are for you, kind of a thing. Like, it's like, I kind of like agree with a lot of the woo woo shit out there, but I also am of the opinion, like, as soon as you start talking about it, it sounds cringe and it should be made fun of. Like, I don't know though about that, like intermingling of the fucking,
That's pretty like messed up though, because people who could be, if they like in some cases who you may categorize in that is somebody that's actually like processing or facing what they need to like heal from like very deep things, whether it's like depression or anxiety or addictions or like very deep things, that are, yeah. So you would just judge that and kind
Just
of.
feel like I just yeah, like I'm not like I don't I really I put zero stock in the idea that like your dreams are gonna help you sort out some drama that happened in your past life and fucking and like help you through some fucking
Yeah, very
intergalactic
miscalculated,
soul
bro.
struggle.
It's
Very
strong, bro.
miscalculated. You totally
I mean
got it wrong.
like again it's like I don't think anyone can claim I have it wrong. It's just it's like or claim or I can't necessarily claim that I have it right. You know
Yeah,
what I
I
mean?
know.
Nor am
I
well I'm
know. It
not
sounds like you have some misplaced reaction to like other people's things because you don't know how to actually solve something yourself.
no, it just sounds gay.
It sounds gay to address things that are being screamed in your face.
Well, like it's like it reminds me of like women in a forest, like like screaming at the trees as some kind of like alternative fucking therapy that they paid a
Okay.
thousand bucks to
So
go
you
for.
just run away from everything that's actually important then. That's what you do. You just turn a blind eye to things that are important. Got it.
Yeah, I'm
Some
a
people are
fucking
like that.
man. That's how we do. I repress that
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
Like I'm
You
a
All
you
right,
real man.
ignore the mail
all right.
and you avoid the cops. You break the law and you do everything that you just keep running. That's what you do, right? You just keep running from everything. Let me ask you: do you actually just not open the mail? You just oh, I got mail. Don't open it.
Well,
Something really simple like that, right?
I never open my mail.
I mean, well, maybe you should.
oh, busted. He's a non-mail opener. I'm just joking. Well, Issa, all right, dude. Well, I hear what you're saying. Like, yeah, okay. Like, I do understand your perspective. Let me ask you this, dude. Like, it's just a general question, and it's not even. I'm not even like. I'm just saying in general. Would you ever do like, go on like a like even if it was like in an amazingly beautiful place, would you do like an ayahuasca ceremony with people? Now, people do sometimes talk about their experiences, and maybe they could be past lives, or they could be whatever from their childhood, or various things. I mean, sometimes, dude, like if people were like sexually abused as a child, for example, they may access those memories, and they may even like shed some tears. They may, etc. Like they may release that, and it may be very meaningful for them. So I mean, some people might share that, but you could also technically be in the ceremony, and you don't really have to engage with anyone. Like you could totally just be in your own space. Don't have to talk to anyone. Don't have to, anything. You can basically just be your own person as well, because that's like respected. Some people are on more of like a solo journey, even though like you're in the community when you're all drinking the ayahuasca. Afterwards, you're still you're still kind of hanging around together, but you can also just be on your own self, you know, and that's always kind of respected.
You know, Gio, I look at it like this.
Would you
If
just
I'm-
see all that as whatever you were saying about it? You would just put that all in whatever category
Well,
that you were
no, I mean, I think, like I said, like my initial premise is like the way I look at it. It's like, if I were to go, God willing, and do an ayahuasca ceremony with some, even with some ancients, some fucking natives and shit. You know what I mean? I'd go in with it and I'd be there with them, and like, trust me, man, I'm like familiar with the psychedelic world, dude. Like, you know what I mean? I've been in, and my point is that talking about it is gay as fuck to me. Like I've fist fought people on LSD, and there's nothing like you just see everything. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's fucking, dude. Believe me, I fucking know that it's wild. Just talking about it is fucking gay. It's like you can't escape it. It's like that's the conundrum and the blessing. It's like, man, we talked about this before. It's like going to a concert or tripping balls.
Well, what does
And
gayness
having
have to do with it though? Like an actual
like
homosexual?
in the 19 well, like, in the, no, 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 in the
relationship?
1980s, in the 1980s sense of that's gay. That's what I mean by that. Like it's
What's
like
the 80s sense?
it makes me cringe. It makes me just fucking cringe. Whatever it is, it's like when a grown like I
Because
don't
it's
care.
triggering your own thing within you that it actually
I don't
represents. You're
sure
avoiding.
whatever it is. Yeah, it's like men aren't supposed to act like that. That's how I feel about it. It's like you're supposed to like, like I mean you have that wild experience with the Indians and shit. It's like you don't go back to civilization and tell them about it because you're gonna sound like a crazy person and it's cringe. And it's just like it's
You
just
don't
what
have
it
to
is.
you don't have to take a psychedelic though to have these experiences. You can just use your breath, and actually you can access all the
Right.
same people have
I
had.
agree. I agree. I agree.
I'm
I
just trying to
fucking
understand what
totally.
your connection to, like, when you keep saying. I mean, I understand. Like, I grew up in the 80s and 90s, so I know the way people used gay and all that, and all the connotations. I kind of worked it out of my like vocabulary for a few reasons, but I hear the usage of it. I'm trying to understand what you mean by that, though. But yeah, it just doesn't really. It's not really accurate because there's nothing I'm saying that has to do with homosexuality. You're just
It's
saying
not
talking about.
homo.
You're just saying
It's just
talking about
weird.
your emotions, basically, or talking about your unconscious, or having any of that. You just write it all off as like, some kind of.
No, I'm not. It's not, dude. I'm not writing it off. I'm writing off talking about it. I'm writing off like coming and telling other people about it. Like unless it's like maybe your fucking therapist or your fucking I don't know your guru or some shit. It's like outside of that, it's like that's like that's some shit you work through. You know what I mean? And like versus like stuff that I don't. That's just how I feel about it. I can't escape it. It's like it's like watching two dudes kiss, man. I don't know. It fucking makes me cringe. I don't know. I just fucking I don't fucking want to see it. I can't help that guttural reaction that I have to it. Like it's not that like I'm trying to limit your ability to talk about it or limit like anyone's ability to talk about it. But if I am pressed about it, that's how I feel. You know.
Yeah, it's totally misplaced. It's very strange.
Well, I mean, it's like I look at it like it's like I've said before. It's like jujitsu. It's like jujitsu is fucking nuts, dude. Like all of a sudden you just like it's like you teleport into like another position and you're fucking choking somebody or something, and like you don't know how you got there. Just everything. You know what I mean? Just all reaction and whatever it was. It's like it could be explained as some kind of woo woo fucking Zen flow fucking bullshit. But I think as soon as you start trying to talk about it, it's gay. But I dig jujitsu. I do it. You know what I mean? Like I think you know what I mean. I think I experience that. I'm high after jujitsu, man. You know what I mean? Like I don't know.
I don't know, man. It sounds like this whole convo is getting kind of lost. Like you're talking about rolling around with the dude, like they're nuts. His nuts like on your face, and you don't know how you got there. And
Yeah,
somehow,
it's super
like,
gay.
other
I get it.
people
I'm
are
not
gay for it.
offended, dude. My usage of gay is not about me like in like some repressed gay fucking like I don't care. Like it's not again. I roll jujitsu. It's like probably the gayest sport in the fucking world. But it's like it's like I'm not going to talk about and even talking about it would be even gayer. It's like that's why I think like talking about it and like trying to be like I had this like intense spiritual moment as like I was like trying to do this move. So I just you don't do it. I don't know. The same thing with dreams. Same shit with that. I mean, although I'm not fucking trying to. Like if you guys are talking about it, I'm not going to like interfere with it. I just was saying that I didn't think Homeboy should be kicked or dealt with like wrongfully for being funny about calling it gay because I think that's kind of my position on it too. And that sarcasm and that whatever is like righteous to me. Like I don't know what to say about
So
it.
you were just running interference for some guy acting like a troll. So that was basically it.
No, not even interference. It's like, and not even like a troll. He was kind of being like funny and real with it, like in the sense, in a way that I can understand and relate with.
No, he wasn't being funny and
He was
real.
trying to
He was
troll
just
and like,
trolling.
yeah, no, he was trying to troll.
Just trolling.
Right, he was trying to get on your nerves a little bit. I get it.
I mean, he was just trolling. So what did you have to do with that?
I just thought it was funny.
Well, that's generally what trolling's for. But why would you run interference for that?
I don't know how I was running interference. I just agreed with the kid.
Yeah, well, you said you didn't want to like get in between or have him be kicked or whatever. But honestly, the dude was just trying to start shit with everybody. So what investment do you have with that?
Forgive me. And I thought it was funny.
He wasn't.
I thought it was funny.
I just want to say he wasn't kicked or timed out or anything. He was muted for maybe like, I don't know, 2 minutes in there. But that was it. Other than that, he wasn't kicked or anything else. I mean, he was muted for like a minute or two because.
Oh yeah, no, I didn't even catch that. And yeah, I know, Gio, you're gonna let those guys roll anyway. Like that's why I dig that.
Well,
I'm all for I know up until a point. I get it up until a point. I get it.
I was just kind of letting him roll with it for a bit there.
He was coming off like a bit of a dick about it too, though. Like I get it. I got it. I just at the same time I thought it was funny.
The whole reason I brought up the dream because I thought the room was smart enough to realize that like the dream was so like strange and insignificant. For someone to point out how insignificant it was kind of like against the whole point of why I brought it up. I brought up why would I have such a fucking mundane, convoluted dream? I mean, that was the point. For someone to say, "Oh, well, why did you bring up such a boring dream?" Like that's why I brought it up because it doesn't make any sense.
Well, no, that's where like I thought it was funny when he said like, I mean, just you're gonna think I'm a dick or whatever. Like when you were saying that it's out of character, and he was like, "How the fuck are you gonna say a dream's out of character?" I just thought that was funny too. I just like I can't help that critique, man. That shit fucking I relate. It's like not that I'm trying to shit on your dream or shit on fucking anyone else with the topic. I just thought it was funny what he said.
Out of character compared to other dreams I've had, which made sense, and this one made no sense.
Who cares? Wish is a troll. Do you guys not know that? Wish and Blob were trolling, obviously.
Yeah, well, I know that. I'm not sure Issa knows that because Issa's kind of tone deaf. So.
Oh no, I'm old school trolling for truth, bro. That's how this all got started.
Trolling for truth. You though? I don't know. I think your position is kind of shifty. I think maybe you wake up with a hangover and say, you know what, I'm going to drink more beer because that'll.
You can think whatever you want. You can think whatever you want.
In my opinion, dreams are something, right? How many hours of the day?
I don't know. Sounds gay, bro. Sounds gay.
Yeah. How many hours of our life do we commit to sleeping, right? And maybe dreams are something important. Like I've had some dreams I still remember. Like I think I've even seen the future with some of my past dreams.
Yeah, Issa, it's just dude, like, just real quick, like, oh no, I hear you, and we can continue on that because I would like to hear more about that as well. But obviously Issa's kind of like has a different view on this. Let me just say, Issa, dude, and I could just, and you're gonna probably think this is whatever you're saying about this, but like, dude, I can love you on every level. However, like. The thing is, I've like been involved in this for years. You know what I'm saying? Like I went to a graduate school. I've been working in all kinds of different, regions, kind of connected, like we're within different areas, connected to like everything related about, like not only like the dream work, but like the human unconscious and psychology and spirituality, and then like the ancient traditional like tools and methods of like accessing these things. You don't always have to talk about it per se. A lot of people actually just process internally. So it doesn't really all like there's like talk therapy and stuff. I guess there's like that stuff, but at the same time, it can be really useful for a lot of people to like share their experience if they had a particular experience, whether it was a dream or whatever it may be. So I'm just saying like that's why I'm saying like I can have love for you as like a brother, even though you have such an opposing like. You know what I mean? Just like saying that all of this is writing. You're the way that you're kind of.
You make me want to bust your balls.
It's all whatever. It's all cringe or whatever. Because I'm just saying, dude. Like, and I've been involved in many communities and people that have worked with so many different like modalities and.
Right, but now you sound. Yeah, but hold on. Just to be a dick, super quick. I'll let it go. But now you sound like like an astrophysicist. It's like what you don't understand is like I'm in the community every day. Like the Earth's a globe, and like what you don't understand is fucking
No, I'm not saying
I've been in this for years. You don't understand. Parallax is real. Fucking,
No, I'm not saying you don't understand anything. I'm just saying.
I know. I know.
I'm just saying
I'm college educated. I'm educated in the spiritual kinds of things. And like,
what would be like the whole world of the interface of the idea that there is like an actual unconscious to access, and therefore, like, could you act, and in the human, like, just inquiring into the self, basically, and that's what you're writing off as saying that like we're just men, we have an emotional strength and we just don't.
Well, no, I'm not. See, hold on, though, Gio. See, Gio. Here's the thing: is like I'm not like I've said it a couple times. I'm not denying the validity of the experience, man. You know what I mean? I'm not denying. I'm not denying like the craziness of the dreams, the implications, the idea, and the feelings as though one is like reconciling some past life. Like I'm not denying that all of that exists. I'm not denying that. Like I'm not denying that. Like I haven't had my own shit. You know what I mean? It's just that it's not something. It's not. It's like it's not something you talk about to me. It's like it's like it's to be made fun of and ridiculed and like it's like almost like and I'm sure you know this, fucking Gio.
Well, why
hold on, let me explain. I'm gonna ask you a question.
About serious stuff like Donald Trump.
Let me ask you a question, Gio. So like, when you're around, tell me if this isn't the case. The fucking people that have fucking probably walked you through all your ayahuasca journeys have probably the harshest sense of humor you've ever come across. Is that true or no?
Well, I haven't really required anyone to guide me through anything. But I've been in groups at times. I've also been alone at times with the.
But like those like like those fucking like the ancient like those shaman motherfuckers that'll like.
But I got what you're saying. Yeah.
Like they're it's like it's funny to them when you're fucking choking up and throwing up on the tobacco juice, probably, right? Like it's
funny.
Right, but like to them it's like it's lighthearted. It's not like everything's funny. Everything's to be poked at and made fun of.
No, in a way, that can always be kind of like a cosmic smile, but also like I mean, they treat it very serious. Like the things that you're calling. Like, dude, what you're calling, okay, the thing is, you keep saying gay, like you're saying it's gay, but dude, some of the shamans, bro, they like blow air on you and stuff. Now, it's not homosexual at all. Like, there's no actual, but dude, they go.
No, I'm not saying, dude, you're hung up on this notion. Hold on, you're hung up.
They don't really touch you. They don't really touch you.
Dude, hold on, man. Hold on. You got to dismantle this. Dude, I rolled jujitsu. Relax. Fucking like what I'm trying to say is like
kind of gay to me.
Okay, so relax. That's what I'm trying to say.
Because you're tight with a man.
I get it, bro.
That one is.
I get it, dude. I get it. My point being, when I'm using the term gay, I'm not using it in any reference to some fucking new LGBTQ. I'm using it in the 1980s Pauly Shore fucking sense of when something's gay, it's stupid, and like it's just like that's what
I'm saying. You don't like dreams. Come on, man.
Right. Well, I'm getting pressed.
I know, but you got to talk about it for 20 minutes. Jesus.
I know.
Sure.
Boring.
What do you want to talk about, Osco? You got a better topic?
I'm fine to talk about dreams, but listening to Issa talk about how dreams are gay for 30 minutes is gay.
Yeah, I want our time back.
I agree. I
don't know. I was kind of enjoying it, to be honest.
It was getting a little off the rails. Yeah, guys.
Well, just like
you do sleep. Everyone here, unless you get a few hours, they say we sleep 1/3 of our life. So maybe dreams are an important aspect of it.
Well, I apologize for talking about something that totally triggered the disarray of everyone's like internal problematic thinking. I had no idea that it was going to trigger so many people. Maybe that was the point of the dream. So
I'm trying to get the thrust of it. Like, so here's it. Issa, it's gay, but it's not gay. Like, what was that term? Like, your analogy? Like, is there another better word that we could use? I kind of think I know what you mean. Like overall.
retarded.
Stupid.
Okay.
Retarded.
So, like, what do you make of the notion of like repeated dreams, as opposed to those like sort of one-off crazy dreams, which do happen? But I used to have like repeated dreams all the time, and I always thought that was rather fascinating. Why would these dreams keep repeating to myself?
Yeah, and have you ever heard that if you face the fear, it will stop happening? Like, I had one which I guess I will share. It is pretty personal, but I mean, it's not too dramatic. But basically, like the driveway, like at the house I grew up, it had like kind of a driveway, and then you got to the end of it. Well, I kept having this dream for some reason, even though nothing like this ever happened that I'm aware of or anything. But when I was a child, I remember I had this dream multiple times where I was just in the driveway, and then a car was coming, and it was like going to hit me. And then right before it hit me, I woke up. Now, there's never been like a car accident there. There's never been anyone hit by a car there or anything. So it's not like that's a thing at all in physical reality. It was just in my dream. And then I had heard at one point that if you just let yourself get hit by the car basically and face it, then it'll stop. And that's what I did. At one point, I finally just let the car hit me, and then I've never had it again. So yeah, what that was about, like, could that have even been some other memory? Yeah, that's one I had.
I have a weird dream, or basically
now we're talking about it, so Issa's
yeah, no,
he's totally kidding right now.
Oh my god,
it's cringing.
Issa, you can roast us in between, so you could do roast, or we could shift the topic either way. I mean, I do get the idea, like going into like, I know I just shared that, but like I know everyone could like go on and on. There is kind of like, isn't there like a kind of a social faux pas thing about sharing your dreams? You know, like if you're like
how do I be one of those?
The workplace. If you're at the workplace and the guy next to you is like, dude, I had this dream last night. He goes into it. You're like scratching your head, you know, as they're going through it. There is kind of that like social joke.
Hey, yo, dude, how do I make a poll so when you're all done, I can say who's got the gayest dream? You know,
just start writing them down.
No, I just want to say, basically, somebody was like speaking to me in my dream, and I was having conveying what was going on, and they misunderstood me, you know, in my dream. And you know, in a way, I feel like there's like a higher power trying to communicate with us. You know, we communicate within dreams. I don't know, possibly.
Yeah, you know what's wild is deja vu. You know, like that kind of.
I had deja vu. 1 month, I had like a whole month of deja vu. It was like incredible.
You know, there's also deja vu. Yeah, when it's like repeated and the same one that keeps happening.
You know about
There's like
Vujadek?
12 different types of deja vu. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, we should go over those again. Like,
yeah, Vujadek.
I've had a few that are really like. Dude, I had one that was extended. Dude, whatever this consciousness is, like we were talking about other realms. Like, I would see no reason to think there couldn't be. You know, just because of like the infinite creativity to create this one. Why couldn't it just create as many as it wanted? Like logically, why would it even be limited? It could create an infinite number of them.
And what if this? Imagine that you're a glober and you're so out of touch with reality, you literally can't see what it is. So maybe the same thing applies to dreams. Maybe if someone is not in tune, they might misinterpret their dreams and like they misinterpret reality. Wouldn't surprise me.
I heard deja vu is making making mistakes of your past life over and over. You know, is trying to tell you, you know, you're about to make the mistake again or whatever, or you have been.
I've been told I've been in people's dreams before multiple times, but I think I've even seen the future in my dreams. Maybe you guys have had similar experiences. Maybe if you see the future, it gives you insight maybe on how, like personally, I think I've seen the future and I kind of appreciate the people, like whoever, it was about my family member and I kind of use that to appreciate them more. So maybe dreams are useful. Who knows? I think they are. Some people have nightmares.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, what seems to be the case, no matter how someone labels it or how they either like it or dislike it, in a way, like at the end of the day, it does seem like the human unconscious can be accessed like in dreams, because then like if someone's in a waking state and then they actually do like the breathing techniques or even in meditation in some cases, or if they do take a plant like a plant compound, something like ayahuasca or something that has DMT, now you're having like a waking dream. So it's like you're awake and you're like, in the case of ayahuasca, you're like drinking the plant, you're awake, but your unconscious is available. So you're able to actually access that, what you would in dreams. But the thing in your dream, you're usually not conscious. That's the thing. And then becoming lucid in your dream, if you can become lucid, then yeah. But even with that, it's not the same as like something like ayahuasca when you're in a waking state, and when there's like the plant spirit and the DMT and everything involved, that kind of facilitates that in that case. So that's like a waking dream. Even like LSD, which is semi-synthetic, but LSD is like that too. It just completely activates the unconscious. So you're like you're awake, and then if you really close your eyes, your unconscious is just coming forth like fully. And that's why people can make like huge headway in like healing like what they call mental disease and emotional illnesses. And that's what I was mentioning before, the emotional intelligence. And yeah, I mean, that's only if people want to do that. I mean, but it seems like that actually gets to the root of the issue for people.
It'd be pretty cool if, yeah, wouldn't surprise me. It'd be pretty cool if we could control our dreams. You know, you lay down and you set your ideal dream and then it comes through.
Don't you think that would kind of defeat the purpose?
Yeah, probably.
Well, there's a thing called oniromancy.
What's that?
If you look in the chat, so the word onirogen or oniro, it comes from dreams. So that's why, like, even that plant iboga that I've talked about, instead of a psychedelic, they refer to it as like an onirogen, which is more of a dream herb, because iboga is a little different than the other ones. Nonetheless, oniromancy is when you basically like you can use dreams to predict the future, essentially.
That's interesting.
It's also like just the idea of like going out into your dream and then like learning something or getting some additional information and then bringing that back. But yeah, this is what Issa would probably roast us on right here. This is fully roastable, dude. Oniromancy. I bet you would find this. Oniricritic literature is the traditional ancient and medieval literary format of dream interpretation. The ancient Sumerians in Mesopotamia have left evidence of dream interpretation going back at least 3100 BC. Throughout Mesopotamian history, dreams were always held to be extremely important for divination, and Mesopotamian kings paid close attention to them.
Wouldn't surprise me.
It says
Dreams
dreams were also sometimes seen as a means of seeing into other worlds, and it was thought that the soul or some part of it moved out of the body of the sleeping person and actually visited the places and persons the dreamer saw in his or her sleep.
Yeah, like occultic magic, you know, was very popular back then, right?
Well, that said 3100 BC is what that was saying.
If we have dreams, why wouldn't people from the past have dreams?
Well, they've used them like they do like joint dreaming to like access information. I mean, I think that's how we could channel this technology for free energy. Actually, that's how we could do it. You do like group trances essentially. Like you could use that word trance as well because again, that would be more like the waking dream where you can put your brainwave state into a very relaxed state, like naturally, and you're in just a very light like a relaxation, which you could call it a trance, but it's just when you lower your brainwave state, which is similar to what happens when you're sleeping. That's the whole thing. When you fall asleep, that's what's happening is that your brain's able to get into those really deeper brainwave states so that it can do these other functions. But if you do that in a waking state, then you're getting direct access to like more of who you are. It's like things that are affecting you, but there's more like material there. And I guess, yeah, that's what Issa, you would say that that's not something you would want to like. And yeah, not everyone, like I said, would have to like talk about it. But at the same time, like when people get to the root of like really their suffering, that's what's beautiful to see because then they can be happier people and better parents and better people overall. Not just parents, but just everything.
Yeah, you know what though? You ever be tripping balls and fucking, you know, you just like there's so much you want to say to somebody, let's say that you're even tripping balls with, but like you just like give up on the effort. You're just like, you just start breathing because it's the only fucking rational thing to do. You never had that experience?
Yeah, sometimes with
dude. No,
Wolvers.
the best is when you just don't say anything. If you're both fully like,
right.
You can even be like telepathic, but like words.
I agree with you.
Needed. Like words are no longer needed.
Right,
Sometimes you don't talk for hours, and it's all just facial expressions and just vibing. Yeah.
Right. So like and I just think like it's like when you break that like almost that silence, it's just everything got gay real quick. It's just like what I mean. Like that's where you just let that ride. Like and I just think when it comes to certain shit, it's like I couldn't even explain to you like the kind of shit that I've experienced on LSD. You know what I mean? Like, and I think trying to would just be gay. That's just how I feel about it. It's not necessarily the validity or because I just don't take any stances though. Like, and it's like someone trying to come and tell you what happens to you after you die. I'm just, it's like immediately you're full of shit.
Yeah, some people are interested in it, some people aren't. Do you believe in telepathy?
I wouldn't really say I wouldn't use the word believe in it, but I know it's a thing. Yeah, absolutely. In certain
What
cases,
about mind reading? Do you think mentalists are real, or do you think it's just some sort of like parlor trick or a hoax? Or
some can be real.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
But there's a lot that are, faking it essentially. Yeah, I mean, in my viewpoint, and the thing is, like, when people have like these types, like all kinds of experiences, it seems like they can access pretty much anything that exists. So it's like if we're all connected, and then like even that, through the ether as well.
Yeah, have you heard the idea that the brain is like a transmitter, and you can actually use, technology to detect brain activity. Sometimes you have to actually have the device connected physically to the head to detect the electrical signals that are being transmitted. But I think they have maybe technology to detect it without actually physically being connected to the head. But so if that's true, let's see if the thoughts are being transmitted, right, and it connects to the ether. Perhaps that's where people who are skilled at, I don't know, maybe picking up that signal that's being broadcast. Wouldn't surprise me. I don't think everyone has it. It's like maybe it's like a muscle. Some people are you have to get that muscle strong in order to actually use it or lift. Someone who has a very weak muscle won't be able to lift something heavy. Maybe telepathy is heavy. But I used to play games with my friends. We would try to hold the number in our head, and we would try to guess it. That was pretty fun.
Dude, I saw another YouTube short today where they took a glass, almost like a glass pie pan kind of thing with like shallow edges, and then they put a little bit of water in it, and then they placed it over like a drawing or like a word or something like that for like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And then they froze it, and when they pulled it out, unbelievable. Like one of them had the word schizophrenic printed on a little printout thing, and it was just sitting on the table. They took the water, put it over the word, water in the glass pan, put the glass pan over the word for 30 seconds, and then just put the glass pan in the freezer, froze it. When it came out, it had a picture of like the side view of a face, and there was two of them, like a split personality thing, like a schizophrenic. It actually responded to the word schizophrenic by making two of them, and there were a bunch of other ones also that was like the water's actually responding to you. So you could
yes.
could you use this to like glean information? Be like start channeling like whatever you would want from that.
Wouldn't surprise me. I'm sure the mind has some sort of protection, safeguards, but yeah, if someone's like an open book and like I don't. The other day I was in another chat and we were on the telepathy topic. So I was like, all right, pick a number between 1 and 10, and literally the number that came into my head was the number that he said. And then I asked him to do it again. I was like, all right, now guard your mind and let's do it. But then he didn't want to do it. Maybe some people have the ability to detect, I guess, thoughts. Maybe because we've never been trained, some people are maybe it's not that accurate or consistent. Who knows?
Yeah, I think there can be all kinds of like misfires in all these things. Like even the idea of like a psychic, like somebody who can like see the future or predict something.
Yeah,
And
I've seen a psychic. When
yeah,
I
like
was
they could be like there was one famous one named Anne Armstrong where she could accurately see people's futures, and she was accurate virtually like 100% of like what their life was like going to become.
wow,
And a lot of them were like very detailed that came true, but she could never see her own.
interesting.
Yeah.
See, what do you think of the idea? Like, so, like, let's see, like one thing I find interesting is the phenomena of like, have you ever, when somebody like is looking at the back of your head and you just look over and they're looking right at them.
Exactly.
So like, so like that is like evidence of like a sixth sense or something, right?
Yes,
My
I think so.
my problem is that when people then take that thing that is real and mystical and then fucking like, I honestly like anyone who's telling me, I am so anti somebody trying to tell you what your fucking past lives are, all that shit. I think it's a hustle. I think it's like that's how I look at all that. Like there's no legitimacy to it to me, other than like
What about
it's like a gypsy hustle, dude. That's like been around since like the ancient days of Babylon. You know
Well,
what I
not
mean?
really. Well, I never really mentioned it in the light of like someone else like giving you. That is a thing. Maybe as people do, like where somebody says, "Hey, I'm going to tell you what your past lives were." I was in any light I brought it up. I was talking about when people have experiences in which they're saying that that's what they're accessing.
Well, yeah. I mean, whatever. I still call. I mean, I don't know. To me, it's like whatever, bro. That's just me. But like, I just also think like it's like we have the real phenomena of that ability to know when someone's looking at your head. And like, and I was gonna say like about the numbers and like all that kind of shit. I honestly think you can develop your sixth sense. Like that I'm all for. Like, you know what I mean? That's legit to me. Like I really do think you can develop that. I used to do like old school jujitsu and shit, and we used to do all kinds of funky stuff like that. And you'd be surprised what your body is aware of almost without your direct understanding of it. But like that's real. But the problem is when it gets extended into all of the like hustle huckster side of it, that's what makes me cringe. I
No,
just
I
don't
agree,
like
dude.
it.
I cringe at that too. Like even the astrologers that are all doing that, like claiming that they're predicting things and they're not using it correctly or misusing it, for sure on all that. And yeah, somebody
Yeah, is
like
it?
who's claiming to be like a past life reader, yeah, that is definitely a category you'd want to be on guard about their authenticity and all of that because that's a pretty. I do think that's a thing that some people can do, but it's pretty rare. So yeah, finding someone who can actually. But I mean, I don't know, dude. Like, if someone's never accessed a memory of a previous life, I wouldn't really have any reason to think why they would, have any reason to believe it's even a thing. I
Well,
suppose, unless they have.
see,
So
but
that's the thing.
I don't know, man. I think of it like it's like saying that, all the magicians that are out there are fake. It's really hard to find a real magician that can actually pull a rabbit out of a hat. Do you know what I mean? Like that's what like I think is that's where all that lead like makes me think like it's all bullshit.
Well, but
You
like
know
for
what I mean?
example, like in the 40s and 50s, they were giving in the 50s, there was when LSD was first being out, they were like giving it to like Czechoslovakians, like people in Czechoslovakia. These were just like normal adults. These were not like hippies or anything like that. These were just literally like Czechoslovakian adults, like men and women. And and they did over like thousands of high dose experiences with LSD. And dude, a lot of those people that were just regular old Czechoslovakian people, let's say they were doing like a session like every week, like a high dose LSD every week for like months at a time, So they would usually like their first sessions, they would go into like their childhood and different like different traumas they had. Then they would go to their birth trauma usually, and then they would start having like often like past life memories. Now these are just normal Czechoslovakian people. They're not like programmed by like new age hippie anything even in that area. And they just came out of the experience saying, oh my gosh, I was just in ancient Egypt. I was on this chopping block, and you know what I mean. They were reliving it.
But if you do LSD
You know
once
what
a
I'm saying?
week for fucking if you do LSD once a week for fucking like an extended amount of time, you're gonna come out of your head with all kinds of bullshit. I just think
No, but
again,
those
it's like
people were healing stuff, dude. They were healing like depressions and anxieties and addictions and like phobias and all kinds of stuff. Like having actual like breakthroughs in psychiatry that the drug world of psychiatry can't even reach with their drugs kind of level. So I mean, It's not just bullshit in their head. At least
I
in
mean,
the
I think
therapeutic results. I'll say that. At least in that. Sort of
well, yeah. I mean, I think if anything, it gives somebody maybe purpose, which I think is like a driving factor in happiness and shit. So, like, if they have to have that story about their, ancient Indian ancestor, you're really Geronimo, the sacred Indian, that fucking, it's like there's some bullshit. I just think, like, to me, like, if it gives them purpose, maybe. But, like, I just think, like, I don't know, man. I'm dry with all that, man. I just don't.
No, I hear you, dude. My older brother is pretty much the same way, you and him. So you guys are quite similar in that way. And yeah, but he's actually kind of softened up to it somewhat over the years. And when I say it, I'm just talking about everything. Like he thinks like flat Earth, obviously anything related to planar stationary Earth, all of that, of course, is in that category. Even like the astrology as well. And yeah, I think the entheogens, like the psychedelics, my brother's he's a bit more chill with, but like yeah, he's pretty much had the same thing you're saying. He's always kind of at least in a somewhat similar way. So yeah, and then like I don't know, there's always been that kind of like interplay.
Yeah, I mean, who the fuck am I anyway? You know what I mean? I'm just saying. That's just how I feel about it. And, like, I don't fucking know. I don't know if, there's some ancient mystical fucking tribe of spiritual Indians following you around. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Well, what about just in dealing with this lifetime that we've lived so far? Do you guys believe that psychics can read the past or the future?
I do think there are some real ones, yeah, that can do that. Yep. It's like, in a way, it's like we're talking about the Akashic records. So if somebody can hash into, because the word Akasha means ether essentially in Sanskrit. So I mean, that's what I was saying before, like the ether that connects us. Yeah, like if you can tap into that like main river stream, as it were, then you could access things in the past or the future accurately.
Yep. When I was a teenager, my dad took me to a psychic convention, my sister and and I remember seeing a psychic, a female, and she told me something that actually happened about my future. And it was probably, it could have been a coincidence, but what she said was, she said something about my finances in the future, and it came true. But I don't know, it could have been a coincidence, but it was at a psychic convention, so they probably do have actual people who think they're skilled at that psychic field or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I do think some people just have like a natural access to it. Maybe even in my viewpoint, like from past lives, if they've developed those skills, then when they're in this life, they'll just instantly be able to do it. It's also like a shamanic thing as well to be able to kind of like navigate and kind of yeah, be able to kind of access those states.
So I don't know. I kind of look like, like in Christianity, when there's like people talk about there's like modern day fucking prophets and shit. I look at all that in the same vein, man.
Well, the
Yeah,
thing is like, could someone accurately? No, there are a lot of like charlatans and probably fakers and liars and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, you got to always like beware. And there's probably like a lot in that area because people always want that. But I'm saying like somebody who is actually doing it. That's the question. Like like I think it absolutely is a thing. Like, would someone else give an opposite side and say it's not, that like you can't? It's impossible to, because that would be like a more materialistic view where you're just like, no, there's no way to read someone's mind because it's coming from their neurons in their brain, and if they don't vocalize it with their mouth, there's no way you could access it. Is what the mainstream materialism would say. Materialism.
However, if someone is transmitting thoughts, right, and we can detect it on like an EKG, perhaps it is actually being transmitted like a transmitter, and it's going into the ether, and kind of like a swimming pool. We're all in a swimming pool, and yeah, so we're all connected to it. That's one possibility. It wouldn't surprise me if there is an ether. We've got a lot of globe geeks talking about it in the past, like Einstein and all those other guys.
Yeah, it would be that like where the physical manifestation comes from, you could say the ether, and then your soul is like the interface, even maybe through the pineal gland or DMT itself, to where your soul is then like coming through the ether into the physical. So you're having like the kind of temporary ethereal experience of being physical through the physical expression of the physical ether. So if that's the case, then that means that like what we are actually does tap into that infinite field. It doesn't mean that everyone will just have infinite access to it. Of course not. Like it's be the opposite. Like maybe only some would have limited access to it and very like selective access, which seems to be the case. But then you maybe get someone like Jesus or some of these different, like I think in my viewpoint, like older, more kind of evolved souls, and then they bring a lot more. They bring like a lot more in with them.
I got a story. I visited Vegas, like North Vegas. Went to a Buddhist temple and talked with a monk, had a person translate, and it's not related to Buddhism, but he did a calculation, based on like astrology and like my birthday and all that. And he told me three specific things that came true, you know, like date and time and all that. He's like in August, I forgot what the date was, like 2009, what the year, it was like 2 months later. Um, you know, something specific happened to me, and he's like, be careful. He's like, and he's like, I'm like, any other month? He's like, no. It's like, absolutely this month, August, and it came true. And he told me 2 other things, and it came true too. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I could tell you specifically, but I didn't want to be too personal.
Well, with astrology in like just the alignments of the actual celestial bodies, generally it's not able to necessarily predict like the concrete future just by itself. It's not really able to predict like what the concrete future would be, but it does show you what like the actual kind of what will be like if we refer to them as archetypes, like it would be like what like the archetypal weather would be in the future. So you would know like right now we're having a Saturn Neptune alignment. We're having a conjunction, which is going to be going on for several years. So if you knew about this, back in like 2020 or 2015, you would know like, oh yeah, there's a Saturn Neptune conjunction coming in 2025, 2026, 27. It's like a multiple year long one. So you would know that it's going to be Saturn and Neptune, and you know the principles of Saturn and Neptune. So you'd be able to predict to that degree to say, well, it will be those two principles that are going to be combining at that time. But what the actual concrete event will be, you can't necessarily predict just with the celestials themselves. But if someone claimed that they were psychic on top of that, then maybe they could. Then if they were to say, okay, well, this alignment is happening, and they're claiming to actually somehow have an ability. I'm just using the word psychic, but yeah, to be able to kind of claim that they're seeing the future. So if they were to combine those, then they would be making that kind of claim at that point.
Yeah, I don't know how it was done, but it was very specific. 3 specific things, and came true. I don't know.
Did it use a bunch of systems? You said it used like numerology and astrology, like a bunch of things, or?
He took a long calculation. He was calculating for a long time, and I was just talking with a friend who translated.
Did you have to pay him for this advice, or
No, he's a Buddhist monk.
that's interesting.
Inside a temple. He I think he quietly does it on the side or something like that. Like he doesn't. Yeah, it's not publicly known. I don't know if it's allowed or anything like that, but
That's pretty cool. And it was accurate.
yeah. Then I think I flew back into Vegas like a year later. It's outside of Vegas, like in the north. And we met him again, and he didn't want to say. He was like, oh, that it was something negative, like it would be like I would die within 1 year or something like that, and it never happened. So I don't know.
Wait, does everyone know the story about what really happened to you though? You got fucked over pretty hard.
No, but yeah, I'm still going through it right now.
That's so sad, man. I'm sorry if everyone doesn't know.
Oh shit,
Yeah.
Dan the Waterman. Oh yeah. Hey.
You really got made an example of, and it's uncool.
Oh yeah, I'm still in civil court right now. Yeah, it's been going on for 3 years right now. But yeah, I don't know if you guys remember. Yeah, my family and I were swatted based on a face mask.
No way.
Yeah. It made like national news, but I was slandered and all that.
Someone swatted you? I'm glad you're okay. Did everything turn out okay? Because sometimes it turns out tragic.
Oh yeah. I had over 100 police, 3 police departments, 2 snipers on the roof, a police helicopter, and yeah, it was like SEAL Team 7 coming through the back window, shattering my patio glass door.
Like a movie.
Didn't it go? It went. I mean, didn't it go from like your kid's supposed to wear a mask? Well, then I'll homeschool them. Then they come to the house saying, "What are you doing to your kid?" And you don't let them in, and that's where this all starts, right?
Oh yeah. The day before, in front of the school, I have it all documented. I have it all on video. It's on YouTube.
This is awful, man. The story is awful.
I video record my interaction with the principal, and I try to be cordial. I was calm. I thought I'm pretty sure I was calm, collective, and
so you weren't raging.
No, not at all.
But they were in full steam ahead mode every inch of the way, panic mode, right?
Yeah, they had no probable cause, no warrant, no exigent, no reason at all to break down my door.
And this was all related to the masks?
Yeah, pretending that his kid was in danger, pretending that there was a danger.
Unbelievable.
And
what happened? Like, how did it end? If you don't mind me asking.
Mac Parhar got affected by.
Right, and
it all from fat and meat if you wanted. But then there's debates about whether that's good or bad, or whether that's good for short term but not for long term. But yeah, like that balance. Whereas if you then kind of do like 50-50, where you have some carbs but then also fat and protein. But yeah, everyone may have kind of differences. But like in that case, you're kind of
and like that's at all.